Let's take a look at the algebraic properties of vectors. All right, so continuing from the last example, let's just imagine that we have a car moving down the street with some velocity v. Okay, so if we just represent that car's velocity as the vector, let's just say that vector right there, v, what we know is that the car is moving with some magnitude represented by the length of that vector, and the direction that this vector is pointing is telling us the direction of the car's velocity vector. Okay, well, what if, imagine the car is moving half as fast? Like, let's just say this car is moving at 10 meters per second. Well, the magnitude of this vector is telling us that that's 10 meters per second. What if the car is instead moving at 5 meters per second? How could you represent that in terms of v? Well, if the car is moving in the same direction, the direction of that v vector is going to be the same, but the magnitude is going to be just half of it. Okay, so that's how you would represent the vector. And how could you represent the fact that the magnitude is half? Well, it's going to be v, the same vector, just multiplied algebraically by a half. What if instead it's going twice as fast? What if the car is now moving 20 meters per second? Well, if it's in the same direction, that velocity vector is going to point in the same direction as the initial v. But if the magnitude is twice as large, we're just going to draw that vector to be twice as large. And how do we represent this symbolically? Well, it's going to be v multiplied by 2. Now, what if the car is moving in the opposite direction? Well, we could indicate this algebraically by saying the car is moving at negative 10 meters per second, where the negative sign is telling us that the car is moving in the opposite direction as it initially was. So in terms of our vector, we can just draw that as the same magnitude vector as we had v initially, just pointing in a rotated direction, rotated by 180 degrees. Symbolically, this vector is the vector v, negative.